Hey guys, and welcome to the video. And today is finally the day. Today, we finally got an update on Saints Row. Yes, it's been far too long, but patience is a virtue, and now we know exactly what to look forward to going into this year when it comes to this game. Now, 2 months ago, I posted a video saying how Bryce Charles, one of the voices for the bosses in this game, or at least the boss options in this game, was recording something at a studio. And from the captions, it was clearly about Saints Row. Now, 2 months later, we know, and I said back then that it was, in my opinion, for the DLC, and now we know that it probably was for the DLC. As you can see, this is the roadmap, and there's a lot here. There's a lot to talk about. And I'm going to go as in depth and as quickly as possible so that I don't spend too much time with this. However, I am going to give my thoughts and opinions on this and what I think to look forward to, what I'm looking forward to the most when it comes to the new content coming later on this year. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, first things first, coming up in probably just a few weeks, if anything, there's going to be a Dead Island 2 cosmetic pack coming that's obviously going to be free for people, maybe everybody, maybe the ones with the expansion. And this is going to coincide with Dead Island 2 that's about to release in just a few weeks, which makes sense. Deep Silver is still the publisher, so it makes sense that they're going to have a bit of a crossover with Dead Island 2. So it makes all the sense in the world, honestly. But then next month, the month after, I should say, in May, is where we get to the meat and potatoes, where we get to the big stuff, where we get the first bit of this expansion, the first DLC, which is called The Heist and the Hazardous. Now, what we can tell you, or what they told us in the website and all that, is that we're going to get new districts, and these new districts will be free for everyone. I think that's something that a lot of the other Saints Row YouTubers kind of left out, is that these districts aren't just, we're not just getting them, we're getting them for free, which means that anybody that doesn't even have, even if you don't have the expansion pass, you can still visit these districts in the base game for free, which is amazing. That's something that I think is going to help with replayability. It's going to help with just driving around in the world and just giving players something else to do in this game, which I can appreciate. I absolutely love that. But in terms of the actual DLC, the actual expansion, the Heist and the Hazardous, I hope that this update, I hope that this brings not just new gameplay and not just a new addition to the story mode and the story campaign, but better writing. I've said that in the past. The writing wasn't the strongest in the reboot in the base game, but there's not really much you can do about the base game writing and story now. But if you can deliver a excellent story expansion, and it looks to me like this one is going to be pretty lengthy, it's going to be pretty good, then all power to them. And it looks like from the screenshot, it looks like the place is called Sunshine Springs, which from the looks of it is kind of like a take on Beverly Hills, or at least a little bit of it. So I'm expecting, as it says, a new district. It talks about new story missions, events, cosmetics, and when it says events, I hope it means new criminal ventures. I hope it means that we can possibly see some of the older criminal ventures or some of the older activities from the previous Saints Row games come back, like maybe driving, maybe, diversions, things like that. Something that gives us more of a reason to keep playing the game. The other thing it says is that there's going to be a combat overhaul, which is something I think a lot of other people. I mean, I like the combat personally, but I know some people that didn't like the combat and thought it was, there's a lot of issues with it. So if they're going to overhaul the combat completely, then I can see why people would be excited about that. And also, there's going to be a new photo mode, which is something that I was really wanting when the game first launched. I wanted something like a photo mode because this map is gorgeous. This is the most beautiful map I believe that this series has ever had. And the fact that we can't do selfies, we can't do like proper photo mode is kind of eh. So the fact that we're finally going to get a proper photo mode to me is something I'm really looking forward to. It's something I'm really looking forward to trying out, and hopefully it gives us plenty of options like filters and things like that, like a proper photo mode. Like not just going in and opening up your cell phone and then just taking a picture. Like no. I'm not asking for like overly in-depth photo mode, but at least something substantial for this game would be wonderful. I think that would be an excellent way to kind of back end that and just show that, you're taking care with it. So again, the Heist and the Hazardous, I'm looking forward to. The Sunshine Springs District, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they implement that and what that looks like. And from the concept art, it's looking pretty neat. The selfie mode and everything with the combat improvements. And I hope they add more activities. I hope they add more criminal ventures. Give us some more things to do in the world that we would really sink our teeth into and want to keep coming back and playing this game more, because I think that's the one thing that this game was missing, was that there wasn't really much to do after you beat the game. After you beat the game, there really wasn't anything to do. There wasn't a reason to come back and play. So if we can have that, that would be wonderful. Now in July, we got to wait about 2 months, but in July, there's going to be a new mode to the game, which is called Doc Ketchum's Murder Circus. And again, my friend AJ talked about this in his video, but I think he's right on the money that this is going to be kind of like Super Ethical Reality Climax, but yet in this world, in this new version of Saints Row. And I can see that. And I'm not too upset about it, honestly. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of things that they're going to do, because Boot Hill was something that I was like loving in the base game, and the fact that we can't really do anything there. We can't really, after the story missions, there isn't really much to do. There's not really a way to kind of do more. And it goes back to what I was saying about not having that much content, because there's a lot left on the table when it comes to Boot Hill. So if we can have that be something that we can replay over and over, like get, maybe the best high scores, and it ups in difficulty the higher you go and things like that, that would be an excellent way to keep people coming back to play the game. And of course, they mentioned quality of life updates and things like that. So, all of these quality of life updates and things like that, the new features and things, I hope that, again, it's just where they add more to the game, they add more to give people reason to play. And then we go on to expansion number 3. And expansion number 3, we don't know what it is yet. All we know is the concept art, and it looks pretty cool to me. I know my friend AJ said it might be a LARPing DLC. I don't know if it will be. I don't think so, because some people would like it. Other people probably won't like it. But me personally, I don't think it's a LARPing DLC, because I think that's something that people would probably just, they just shake their head, or they just nod and go, I guess. Like, it's not something that you would promote as this big, expansive DLC. I don't think that's what it is. But I do think it's something substantial. The concept art looks pretty cool. Apparently there's like a big flying dragon. I can understand it being LARPing, because there's a castle, there's a dragon breathing fire, and it reminds me of one of the things you can place in the world in the base game that was tied to LARPing. So I understand that there's like a kind of a fear of that to some people, but I'm going to hold out on specifically saying it's LARPing until we get more information. But there you go, folks. To me, I think this is great news. Honestly, I think that the fact that we're getting more districts in the world that is free for everyone is going to be great. I hope that this kind of changes the game's perception to at least some people. It's not going to change everybody's minds. I'm sure everyone has made up their minds one way or the other on this game by now, but to me, I'm really having hope that this kind of turns the game around to the people that, not the people that will never love this game. Like, I'm not talking to you guys. For you guys that are listening to this and you're never going to love this game and you're never going to play this game and you're never going to, enjoy it, this isn't for you. But for the people that do play this game or did play this game and are hoping that it gets better, and we're hoping that, we get some new features and new updates and new content, then this is going to be for you guys. And I hope that it helps. I hope that they really take the time and they really did listen to feedback and they really did, take into consideration that there are people that actually do want this game to succeed and they actually do want Saints Row to continue. So I really hope that we can, have something to sink our teeth into. Like I said, I don't want this to be just bare bones, bare basic DLC, just adding stuff in and there you go. No, I want this to really be meaty and really mean something, because if they really want this to be, as I've always said, a foundation for the next generation, and I firmly believe this is going to be a foundational piece for the next generation, for whenever Gearbox takes over the IP after this DLC's done, then you got to build on this game. You got to make, and if it's going to be a live service thing, more power to them, because this would mean that you can continue to add updates to the game, you continue to support it, you continue to keep going with updates, with patches, with adding new features, adding new activities, adding new modes, things like that really make us want to come back in and actually play this game, especially if you're somebody that probably sees the game for the first time, sees all the new modes and everything, and wants to give it a shot. And those are the people that you want to attract. You want to attract those people who still are on the fence, who still have heard all the bad press and the bad publicity, but then you see all these new modes and these new districts and things, and they say, I might want to give it a shot. And especially if since the districts are going to be free for everyone, that would give somebody a reason to go, maybe I can give this one a shot. And one last thing before I go, I want to mention this from the website itself. Apparently, they're going to be breaking down all the additions and changes in the future, but it also says, but before all that, keep your eyes out for some new visitors to Santo Ileso who've dropped by for a special slaycation, which I think that's going to be in terms of the cosmetic pack for Dead Island 2. At least that's what I think it is, because it says slaycation. So I think that's going to be talking about the cosmetic pack in the next couple of weeks. But again, I really hope that this is kind of the turnaround for this game that we kind of needed. I really hope so. I hope that they continue to retool the combat, and it says that there's going to be a new emote system, there's going to be retooled combat, community requested features. And I hope that's the case. I hope that they're really like, and if Volition are listening, this last point is for you guys. I really hope you guys are truly listening to the legitimate feedback of the community and not just the people that are making it out to be like this game and you guys are horrible people and everything. And this isn't me kissing ass to Volition. This isn't me kissing ass to Deep Silver or anything. This is me as a fan, being a fan for over a decade of this series, talking to the developers if they're listening, okay? So don't get your panties in a bunch, all right? This is for you guys. I hope that you guys are legitimately listening to the feedback for the from the community, from the people that are still wanting to play this game, that still have hope for this game, that still enjoy this game, and are wanting more content, like more Criminal Ventures, a reason to keep coming back into this world. You want to retool the combat? Great. A selfie mode? Great. New districts? Wonderful. Like all of these things, that's going to get people coming back for more. But at the same time, continue to listen, continue to gather feedback, legitimate feedback, not hate, not slander, not death threats, none of that stuff. There's no place for that in any community, any gaming community, anywhere, period. But legitimate feedback, legitimate criticism, that is what makes games better. It's what makes developers better. It's what makes everyone better, is just getting feedback and working on it and doing better. And if there's a chance that you can do better, no matter what people thought of the story, no matter what people thought of the launch, whatever, it's been done before in several games. I'm not saying this is it's a Cyberpunk situation. I'm not saying that it's a No Man's Sky situation, but there's been examples before of games that had a rocky launch and they over time continue to add to the game, continue to fix the game, and it turned out decent, if not great. And I hope that this is the case for this game as well. So thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that I covered everything. If I didn't, let me know in the comments down below on something that I've missed, anything that I've forgot to mention. And leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit the bell to be notified of all future content, because now that we got the roadmap, there's going to be a lot more Saints Row content coming up. At least I believe there will be. I will try my best. So thank you guys again, and I'll talk to you in the next video.